Hello, everybody, and welcome to mycountylink.com. As once again, we have an august group of citizens here to discuss things on the roundtable episode today. Have Gaylen Blosser, Ty House. I'm Alex Warner. Mike Stegall here. Glad you could join us as always. As we kind of are going to throw some things out on the table today, see where it leads us. We have no set format today, but we just thought on a gray, cloudy morning here, this would be a good time to get together and discuss some things locally. So first of all, I'd like to say, if this is climate change, I'm all in favor of it, man.
too.
I tell you what,
me
this
up.
50 up to 60 here later in the week, and what we had so far, maybe 3-4 inches of snow, if that. Haven't had much more than that. have we?
Yay, global warming.
Yay, global warming, yeah. So anyhow, hey, and that brings, we discussed just a second earlier, Mike, you talked a little bit about how the county appropriates funding for salt and all the stuff they use to clean the roads off and so forth. Just give me a little background on that at the county
Well,
level.
it's just like any budget, you estimate what you've used last couple of years, Jim does, and then, well, how much do I think I'm gonna need this year? And then you take so much, and we've got a couple storage bins for him out at the, out there on 36
Right.
that he uses, and it's just really a guess about how much you're going, what kind of a winter you're gonna have. This year, we've been fortunate, we haven't had to use much. You never know. You just, that's one of the hard things about Jim's job, is he just doesn't know.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure, but I know he tries to buy so much every year just to have, but I think we've got a pretty good.
And the price fluctuates, you never know
it's
from year to year.
Yeah,
Right.
salt's awful.
Does that come in on barges on the Ohio River? Is that how that gets here?
No, most of ours comes from up around Toledo.
Up around
And
Toledo,
they
huh?
ship it in by truck.
Okay,
Yeah, and you'll every once in a while, if you go by out there on 36, you'll see them shooting that stuff in those bins.
yeah.
It's,
Yeah. Hey, if I remember right, and I know we did a show out at the, Nick Schmidt, our videographer, and I did a show out at the County Highway Garage probably, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. I think the county is responsible for what, over like 500 miles of roads?
we have more county bridges
Yeah, I knew the bridges.
in the
yeah.
country than anybody else.
Wow,
Yeah, we've got
really?
over, I forget how many, it's a ridiculous number of bridges.
Yeah,
But Darke County has the most bridges, county bridges of any county in the state of Ohio, and pretty much, I think we're top 10 in the country.
yeah, the bridges and the
Yeah.
roads both. And then Ty, down there at Neve Township, then, what kind of budget do you have? Because you guys don't use salt, do you?
We use mixture, grit,
Okay.
and then salt, which we get from Jim Surbury.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper for us to
Go in
the
with
county.
them?
Well, they kind of go in with us in a way. They help us out as well.
Okay.
I think with all the townships as well. So Jim factors that in as well. And again, it depends. Right on the season, and of course, grit is cheaper than pure salt. Now, how we do it, I mean, we salt the bad corners, how you do the crossroads and things of that nature.
Intersections.
You're right. So, and bridges, and so you kind of, where you put it makes a little sense. You might use more grit, say, on a road that's not very popular, as you would, but yeah, we do, that's how we handle ours.
Okay, Neve Township's what, one of 18 townships? 20
20
townships. Ty should know, he's president of the Darke County Board of Trustees. How many miles does, say, Neve Township cover?
Right around 18 miles. We're only
18
about
miles?
I think we're the second lowest. We're not the
Yeah,
lowest
you're
in terms of
second
miles.
lowest, I think.
But we have 18 that we're responsible for. It would be more, in our area, there's a village, obviously Wayne Lakes. And since they're a village, they take care of their own.
Okay, they do their own
They
then.
do their own as a
Right.
village. At one time, when they were not a village, this goes back several years, well, then it was all part and parcel too for the township to take
See,
care of.
that's something else people don't understand, is the divisions in government. You have you have townships, cities, villages, and each one has their own responsibility. Like Cerber covers all the county roads, 500 and some odd miles.
Right,
And then you got your villages, they cover inside, like Versailles and Greenville, then they do their city streets and stuff like that.
yeah.
Does only the state do the beet juice? Or
That
does
is
the
a good
county?
question.
Or is that
Now-
brine now? Did they get away from beet juice and went to the brine, or is it
know,
a
but I saw-
I
combination?
think it's brine now, but I think
That's it.
maybe Franklin County, your larger counties like Franklin, where you've got the city of Columbus, they might be doing the brine and stuff like that, but I don't know of any of the smaller ones, do you?
I don't know either, no.
That beet
We
juice,
certainly
did that
don't.
work?
Somebody was talking about it the other day about putting beet juice down. I saw them out spraying. I
Yeah, they
don't
were
know.
spraying here a couple, a week
But
or
I
so
think
ago
it's
when
the
weather was
state
bad.
that does that.
Yeah.
Is that red beet juice or pickled beet juice or what?
Yes.
Never tasted it. Put your finger down.
Yeah, I
there.
don't want to really do that. So, hey, let's talk about some infrastructure projects going on. What's going on in town? I mean, it seemed like West Main Street from the traffic circle on out to 502 and then around on to Chestnut. Is that just what, water, sewer?
Water line.
Is it water line?
Yeah.
I guess the
city-
water line that was in there was over 100 years
It was,
old.
it was bad, and it needed to be replaced, and I think it's taken them a little longer than they thought it would.
Boy, that seems.
Because they got to
that's
cross the creek to get it in, so.
Yeah.
And then I understand there at Chestnut and 502, we're gonna put a stop sign right there. Does I understand that correctly?
My wife said she read something about
Yeah,
that.
can you imagine? coming
Four-way
around
stop right
Chestnut?
there?
Yeah, come around the corner there at Chestnut, right, you know, that'd be a,
That's gonna be a,
that's
that
gonna
might
be a
be
thunder
Yeah.
gonna waiting to happen. I'm thinking if that's the truth, I don't know.
All I know is it looks like a third world country out there right now on West Main Street. Man, that thing has been chopped up. You look along those
Construction is
houses.
messy.
It's really
Good
messy
for
right
another
now.
100 years though, if you think about it, hopefully, as much long as they're taking.
You know, I think if I remember correctly, Nick and I a long time, I'm getting back another 15 years, we did a show on, with city utilities and so forth. And I think at one time they had hollowed out logs down the middle of Broadway was what was the pipes, the infrastructure time, hollowed out logs.
In the 1980s, they did reconstruction on a lot of sewers and stuff, and I hauled onto Water Street. And Water Street, the sewer that was down there was so deep that they had a John Deere 690 excavator, and they had to put a chain and then another bucket on, so two guys could get down and dig by hand,
Oh.
literally
Oh,
to
my.
the sewers. Now, the funny part about that is the government would pay for replacement, but they wouldn't for bad spots, but they wouldn't pay for a whole line. So still on Water Street, in spots, you have wooden sewers connected to plastic.
Really?
Yep.
Wooden sewers.
Wooden sewers. They were like a wooden trough.
I'll be darned.
Yep.
Well, that explains
Think
some
I'd
things.
rot away
They
after
were
a while.
about, they were about 19 feet deep at that little hill there on Water Street. That was deep, because I hauled all the snow for it.
Hey, you guys know, are they gonna do anything on the block off of Broadway on West 4th Street? To me, that's the worst, worst section of pavement in town. I turn on that a lot, and just about time you get across from the pawn shop there, you start bumping and bouncing.
Won't be
Have they
long.
got something planned to go in there?
I
That's
have
why
no
they've
idea.
delayed putting that
know.
on?
There's a lot of streets in the town we walk. and
Yeah, that's
there's
true,
some
too.
Streets that, once you walk on them, are like, wow, that's down to the pavement.
But I will, you talk about pavement stuff, but I will give Jim Serber credit for this. If you go to any other county in the state of Ohio, I don't care, pick one, or you go to Indiana,
Oh, my.
Darke County has just about the best county roads in the state of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
He really does, with what he's got to work with and the amount of money he has to spend.
Mm-hmm.
He,
Does Indiana still
Yes,
have
he
some
does.
dirt or gravel
Yes, they
roads?
do.
I think they still do,
right
don't they, in
outside
different places?
Union City, you can find some.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, what have you heard, any cause they've come up with on the derailment of the train out there by the old North School building?
You know, I haven't paid that much attention to it. At first, I heard it was because we had so much rain that maybe it got soft.
Got washed away or something
I'm not
under
sure
that?
about that.
Okay.
But that I really didn't follow up much with.
I was kind of surprised. I looked at it because, we walked by there and then, we've seen the pictures where it just kind of laid them over on the side. And thank God there weren't any leaks from those ethanol
Right.
hauling cars and everything. But when I saw this, and of course they only go, maybe 10 miles an hour through there? They're not
If
picking
they're
up
not-
much
it's not very
speed.
fast.
Not much speed. And they just toppled over. Kind of remember the old TV show Laugh In?
Yep.
With Rowan and Martin? Remember they had Artie Johnson, the comic, and he'd be on a tricycle and Ruth Buzzy be sitting on the bench and he'd say, hey, little girl, want to see my wool nethers or whatever it was. And then she'd slap him with the person, he'd just topple over. That's what those cars look like. They just fell over on their
Slow
side.
motion. yeah.
What looks to me, what could have happened, I've never heard, but the way they were laid over and the way that the section of track they did, it looked to me like maybe one or two of the old ties might have given away and the track separated a little bit, and that's what caused it to fall.
That's what I heard, that it separated.
Bet they replaced that whole section. I know.
Well, one of our friends we walked with, Larry Shade, said, that's what happens when you put a penny on the rail. But you know what was funny? We were out there and Kathy and I were driving out west on 571 and a semi came around the corner there at the cemetery and had a flatbed trailer full of sections of the ties and the rails already put together.
Yeah.
Like an old toy train sets, you'd have the sections. They just put those babies down, they put in what, maybe 100 and some yards worth
Yeah.
of new rails and but just set them right in.
I live out on 36 over there, and the night, the day that the thing turned over, that night it was dark, it was probably about 7:30 or so, I saw 3 or 4 R.J. Corman semis coming into town with all kinds of equipment, and I guess they worked all night to get that done, so.
Have you ever read the story of R.J. Corman? Get online and read it. He was quite a guy. Now,
Yep.
he's passed away. He passed away young.
Fairly young, yeah.
Yeah, but that's really a neat, if you want to look up something, just, you can Google it and read about him, and he gave a lot of money away.
Their headquarters is down in Kentucky.
Yeah, just-
I called down there once about a railroad crossing
Right.
and had to talk to some of the people down there. They're really nice people.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
like, what, just getting out of high school, and his uncle or somebody had equipment to put cars, or
Right.
train cars back on the rails, and
That's how
then
he
he took
started,
it from
wasn't it?
there.
Yeah, that's
And
exactly.
he must have been a hard worker himself.
Yeah, because now they got those short lines, because he's got like, I want to say 5 or 6 different outfits
He does.
from like Ansonia down to Greenville. He's got one from Salina to
Yeah, he's got
someplace.
some big warehouse buildings up in
Yeah.
Salina. and-
You know, you don't really think about it, but how much ethanol do you think comes out of Darke County? When you see all these.
I'd have no
you know,
idea.
Right now, by now, it's just, kind of, we're used to it, but there's a lot of ethanol. shipped out.
There's a lot of trucks go in and out of there. Their capacity is, you wouldn't imagine, hundreds, they come in and handle a day. so-
Just a still out there, right?
Yeah.
It
He's
is,
making moonshine.
it is, but they have to put, every once in a while, you will see a tanker with like gas in it,
Yeah,
and they have to put that in there, or that actually is a big still.
yeah, that's all.
Right.
They have to dilute, if not, I know ATF's out there every once in a while checking, because that's basically what that is out there, the big corn still.
You probably know more about this, Mike, than I would, or maybe you would, Ty, but the Arcanum Fire Department, their biggest challenge is the ethanol trucks going down 49. The number
Oh.
of trucks every day, so it's been a while, but what they have to prepare for, but that's their number one, I think, thing they work on
Yeah.
is the ethanol trucks
Got
going.
something flipping over in an
When
accident.
they built it and opened it up out there, the Andersons brothers were here, and they're really neat guys to talk to. They're kind of nice guys. They really are just normal people, but they've
Now, is
got
that
quite a
working
few-
out pretty well? They're still piping the residues back over to Continental Carbonics,
Yes.
right, for dry ice?
Dry ice.
That's still going pretty strong
So
out
they-
there, does anybody know?
I see the trucks go by once in a while, so.
The funniest thing about the dry ice is, when they first built that plant, we were talking about, I was talking to the president, and he said, "Got any groundhogs or anything like that?" I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "'Cause at the time I lived on a farm." I said, "Yeah, I think I do." He goes, "Well, let me tell you what I do." He said, "Go out there," and he said, "buy a piece of dry ice, put it in a groundhog hole, cover it up," and he said, "You won't have trouble anymore." Because the dry ice sucks all the oxygen out of their tunnel.
Oh,
He said, "This is the best groundhog and underground burrowing animal," he said, "you can get."
better than juicy fruit chewing gum
He said, "No,
and
I'm not
stuff?
supposed to tell you that." He said, "But it really works."
Really?
I've
Okay.
heard bubble gum, I've heard the smoke bombs.
Yeah, that's right, everything, they
And
still
the,
survive. Cockroaches and
410.
groundhogs
And the
always. be
410
with-
works pretty good
Hey,
too.
so when we were driving out 571, I was talking about the sections of tracks. What's going on out there? Is that like a party barn they're putting in out there on 571 just past the
Yeah, I think Tim
new
Burns is
addition
doing
cemetery?
it. Tim Burns is doing it. I think it's gonna be like a.
Wedding venue.
Wedding venue?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a round barn
Yeah.
like with an extension off
Yeah.
the end.
It's a really nice place.
Okay.
And
well,
knowing Tim, I'm sure he'll do it right.
They're gonna try to get it opened up then, I assume, for the wedding season here this
Yeah,
summer?
Sure.
he's trying, but,
Yeah.
I think
We'll
they've
see.
had some obstacles, some hoops they've had to jump through, but
Well,
getting
he'll get it done.
Like anything else, yeah. Hey, talk donuts to me.
okay. Well, if you're looking for a donut in town, it's amazing now that we have Dunkin' Donuts. How many places can you guys think of that we have donuts? Now, I still think probably the king of Greenville would be Eikenberry
Yes,
when it
I
comes
agree.
to
Got
donuts.
my vote.
But I know you looked at my cheat sheet, but can you guys
don't know.
think of all the places you can buy donuts?
I know that obviously Eikenberry's, you actually get them at Kroger too, I
Right,
suppose, or
Kroger.
any store.
Kroger.
Then you've got Bismarck out that way.
Walmart.
Walmart has them.
Walmart has them, so any of those.
Casey's has donuts.
Casey's has
Casey's
donuts.
you go in and buy
Yeah.
boxes of them.
Yep. Casey's has donuts.
How about the new place down there? It used to be Mama G's, kind of there at the southeast
The-
corner of the fairgrounds. Now it's somebody else in there.
Someone's in there now.
Forget
She
now.
moved, didn't she?
Yeah.
Obviously downtown, you've got Beans.
Beans.
If you want to go out my way, you got Broom Balls.
Well, you got A and B. Do they
Yeah.
have donuts or they just have muffins?
No, they don't have them anymore.
Okay.
They just buy them.
Okay, they just buy them.
Well, actually, you can get donuts at the M&M Diner too, but they buy them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hagemarys.
Yeah.
But,
Well, how many are there, Galen? What do you count up?
well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9
Right
big
here.
companies, I mean, that
Yeah.
sell a lot of donuts, so, we'll see if they all survive, I hope they do.
Yeah.
When is, does anybody know when they're scheduled to open Dunkin' Donuts? Because I know they've
Yeah.
had people out there.
Now, it's not Dunkin' Donuts, man.
It's Dunkin'.
It's just plain
Dunkin'.
Dunkin'.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Dunkin.
They changed a couple years ago.
Yeah, they did,
Apostrophe.
that's right.
It's just
Okay.
Dunkin' now.
I don't know, are they open now?
No, I don't.
know.
I just
They've
drove
had
by
people-
yesterday.
One night here last week or so, we drove by and there was people in there and it was like they were doing a practice session or whatever.
Right.
Or maybe that was with their employees or whatever, but
I
don't know when
I
it's
thought
supposed to
maybe they
open.
might have been open by now.
There's a little pushback, a little resistance about Dunkin' coming in too, if I
Right.
remember.
Well, we were
Well,
together
there
at
for a
Tim
year or two.
Hortons too,
You know,
there for a while. There
it's
was-
funny.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
funny, but
Hortons?
it seems like whenever anything new comes to Greenville, there's
Yeah,
pushback.
there's pushback.
I never see anything like it. I remember when McDonald's came in. There was, oh my God, the people were crazy, in town. Oh, we can't have them in here, they'll ruin everything else.
Where was the original McDonald's in Greenville?
Out there where Aldi's is.
Was it?
Yes.
I thought it was at the south end of town.
No, that was
That was
Burger
Burger
King.
King.
Burger.
That was Burger Chef.
Burger
Burger
Chef.
Chef, yeah.
Burger
Burger
Chef.
Then it
Burger
was
Chef
That's
was
not where
Aldi's.
Aldi's was.
And then
yeah.
Vince was Flint's.
Yes.
Vince Flint's, yeah.
Yep.
And then it was Hardee's. wasn't it?
Hardee's. And then, does anybody remember Bordenberger?
Yeah, oh,
Yes.
yeah, where Empire is. Or in that,
In that,
That
somewhere
Lawson
right there where the
area, yeah.
Y is, somewhere in that area.
right, it was, yeah, Bordenberger, and
That's
then
one
it
of
was
the first
Empire
ones, too.
Restaurant.
And they were god awful.
Had that blue building, like.
And then McDonald's came in, and their big selling point, I remember back many moons ago, was when they come in town, was that everybody else thought, well, they'll run everything out of business. And Ray Kroc's son, I believe, actually came to one of our council
Oh,
meetings
really?
and said, no, he said, we bring traffic. So wherever we build, things grow. All you gotta do is look out that way.
Where's the first McDonald's you ever remember eating at, or getting a sandwich at?
Bell Fountain.
Bell Fountain. Todd?
Probably here in Greenville.
Yeah,
Probably here in Greenville.
yeah. Mine was in Salt Lake City.
Wow.
And it was just, you just walked up to the counter and it had the big arches on either
Yeah.
side, the old, and you go, and, I'll never forget, my dad was apoplectic there because it cost $5 to feed 5 of us.
Yeah.
But it was like 45 cents, you got a 15-cent hamburger,
Yeah.
15-cent fry, and 15-cent milkshake. That sound about right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
And I know the McDonald's milkshakes, you could leave them sit out in the sun in the car all day and come back still thick.
I think one of the original, like the Golden Arches things, there used to be one in Richmond on 40, and I don't know if they've changed that one or not, but that one kept the original design for a long time.
Yeah, outside, I don't
And
remember either
really,
of it.
pretty close to it across the road, there was you guys remember the Red Barn?
Yes.
Red Barn.
Red Barn hamburger?
Boy, I don't.
I do. Well, you were a South person too.
You talking over in Richmond, anybody remember, was it Stuckey's?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're
They're still out there.
they're still
I
out
think.
there.
Is it on 40?
I don't know if it's on 40
I don't
anymore.
know if it's on 40.
Around here, I don't see them, but if you go out
If you
driving,
drive on 70, when you get over there just on the other side of Springfield, there's a Stuckey's.
That's the one that had the divinity, the
Yeah.
candy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pecan Divinity or something?
Stinky Stookies. I mean, you could stop at them all the way to Florida.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll tell you what, I developed an extreme dislike for white chocolate because of that divinity and some of that stuff. I was like maybe 10 years old, we were coming back from a trip.
What about their pecan logs? That's what they're
Oh,
famous
Lordy.
for.
Yeah.
Are we dating
I'll pass
our-
on-
we're dating ourselves
We're
here.
way out there.
I don't remember that at all.
Hey, how about Buc-ee's? You guys have talked about Buc-ee's before. I see they're putting a new one in out there on Interstate 70 and what, 235?
235, yeah.
Yeah, all 120 pumps coming in there.
I tell you, if you've never been to one of
Yeah.
those, they are something.
I've been into one down around Richmond, Kentucky, and something's the word to describe it.
Yeah.
It always reminded me, well, always, I was there one time, but it just kind of reminded me of the bar scene in the original Star Wars. You walk in there and there's all sorts of characters in there, you know?
Yeah, you can do that just about anywhere anymore.
Yeah. I
to
see we got,
Walmart. Go
yeah, and we got a Penn Station will be opening up.
That'll be good.
Yeah, I like Penn Station. Of course, we got the subways here. I'm
Right.
trying to think, do we have anything else similar to sandwiches that way?
Besides Subways, I don't know. I imagine you go to if you go to one of our restaurants,
Well, yeah.
you get subs and stuff.
Yeah, right.
there or
But
whatever.
some, yeah, Penn Station, I think they're pretty good. There's one down in Inglewood. Stop in there sometimes after get home from the
I
airport.
think there might be one in Troy.
One in
Not sure.
Troy.
I think so.
Yeah, there is.
What's your two
About
favorite
55.
donuts?
Glazed
Glazed?
and glazed.
Glazed and glazed. Ty?
I like the white breadsticks, that's probably my favorite. And then right behind that would be the glazed Persian.
Glazed Persian.
My favorite donut.
He
Well, you
likes
think-
them all.
All of them.
right
Hey, obviously. All you gotta do is look. I like the sour cream, and I don't know if it qualifies as a donut, but I think they still make, I love cream horns. I do like a good cream horn every now and then.
I might be the world's fattest vegan.
Wagner's downtown used to have the best one.
Wagner's, yeah, you're really dating
But that-
yourself
those
now.
are really
Wagner's
good. That was-
downtown.
What was the, over here where Kathy's Restaurant is, there used to make, a lady and her husband made donuts over there years and years ago
Boy,
in that.
Wow.
I don't remember that.
Remember that? Yeah.
There was a donut place across from Speedway. What was that called way back? The Dog and Suds used to be years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a donut place. So I remember
And
buying
then there was
donuts.
Eilers there. That was.
I'd buy donuts and take them into school and then
What's the name
sell
of
it for
that
the, we'd sell
Donuts?
them for, yeah. We'd sell them, that's when they first started donuts. We'd sold them there and we used them for the varsity G club.
Did you say Dog and Suds too?
That used to be a Dog and Suds
Yeah.
years ago. I'm talking about before I was born,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, then there was, at the same time, and when you got out of town, there was Frisch's.
Oh, yeah.
Way out of town.
Right
Out
there
by
at the
the airport.
airport. Yep. Yeah, and I still see airplanes coming in there and then they taxi up and park and then they get out and go into Frisch's and,
Did you ever fly in there?
no, I never did. It was gone. By the time I started taking lessons and everything's up at
60
Versailles.
67, they talked about, something like that? Something like that?
67's when they
68?
put the airport in up at Versailles,
Yeah.
yeah. I always thought that was a mistake that the powers that be in the city of Greenville made there. They had that chance because it had been centrally located and they just hemmed and hawed around and they got donated land up there by Spiller's family. And so Versailles, so the Darke County Airport is kind of inconvenient for, most of Darke County.
However, I do want to thank Alan Davis from our district out here at the ODOT. If you notice, at all the major highways now, we have signs up that say Darke County Airport. How to
Yeah,
get
we
to it.
do. I
That
saw
was
that.
Alan.
Out there by
called-
New Harrison.
I called Alan one day and said, hey, you'd like to have, he said, well, let me check into it, see what I can do. And I was coming in 36 one day, I was going to go up to the airport, and I saw this sign, and he didn't even let anybody know, he just went and got them done. So thanks, Alan, appreciate that.
Hey, let's swing around a little bit. Gaylen, you want to talk a little bit about this time of year, not only in pro sports, college sports, but high school sports.
Yeah.
Bumps and bruises and, especially it seems like with girls and then illness going around. What you got there?
Yeah, there's been a lot of
Cannabis.
illness, a lot of injuries. Bradford girls, Vivian Harleman, their leading scorer, she's out, injured.
Knee or what?
I saw her last night, I was over there, and she had something on her foot.
Okay.
So, Greenville, their leading scorer, second leading rebounder, Megan Lynn, she's been out, probably be out the rest of the year. Tri-Village, Bella Black, she was a starter last year on the state championship, perfect team, was one of the best defensive players in the state of Ohio.
Did she have broken finger or
Broken
dislocated or what
finger,
was it?
yeah, no, broken, and she can't play because if she would injure it again, she could ruin her finger.
Permanent damage.
Yeah,
Really?
permanent
That's too
damage.
bad.
I'm gonna say because she's a real, not
She's
only she scores, but she's a great defensive player and really rebounds.
Team
That's her
leader.
Tri-Village with her being absent.
That has really hurt Tri-Village with her being out. Taylor Woodbury last year had her ACL. She's back, and she's now back to about where she was.
She's crackerjack.
Yeah, she's good.
The other night at Arcanum, when they played FM. They
You're talking
had
the boys now.
Boys now. They had 6 players out most of the week sick. Reagan Chris, their leading scorer, was out during the week. He came back Friday night and played, and they lost by 1 point to FM. And Sonia Boys the other night, I covered them. They had 4 seniors on the bench,
saw that.
all injured.
Saw that picture, yeah.
And they're playing Russia,
Yeah.
and
Tough game.
Russia was 16-1, had lost their first game the night before. So there's others in the county, but it just seems like this year with the sickness and injuries, there's just been teams that have just
Yeah,
been
too
decimated.
bad.
Just talking about athletes from Greenville. I did that article on Susie Blocker and
Yes.
Kenna
Yeah.
Jenkins.
Good article.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
it
much.
was very good.
Talking to Susie, she's really excited. The second surgery has really done well for her back. She thinks she's going to be a first baseman. She said, I'm going to give it a try. She's she's got a lot of heart. I'll give that girl credit. She wants to play softball. So-
Catching would be tough coming off the backswing.
Well, you know, she was All-American catcher.
Yeah.
But now they moved her to first base, and I think she'll be fine there. Talked to Kenna Jenkinson. She's down at Troy University now. She went down to warmer weather. Can't blame her there. I think I wrote in the article, the night I wrote the article, it was like 40 here, and it was like 6:30 at night, and I was talking to her. She says, well, it's 66 here now, and I'm sitting in a coffee shop doing my homework. So, so yeah, those two girls are doing great.
Yeah.
It's always fun to talk to them. I really enjoy talking to them, and their parents are wonderful people, Corey. And I saw Christy the other day. She was in at A&B Coffee and talking about how things are going.
Okay.
It's really good to know that those two girls are doing well.
Yeah.
And they're representing us well.
How many girls out of college make the tour, the circuit each year? Would there be 10?
Oh,
But there's different
probably-
circuits too.
Probably 10 to 12 that really make it.
So the odds of making it are really,
It's slim. Golf is probably the hardest game to get
Or
good at
tennis,
because
golf,
you're
tennis,
it's
individual.
because it's just you.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Right.
how good you are and how you handle pressure and stuff. So it's tough. I think Kenna will do well. I've seen her play quite a bit, and I sure as heck don't want to be anywhere near and play. That's for sure.
And Mary's
and I,
Oh my God, she's good.
I understand she has a little sister that's
Oh,
as good as
Piper,
her.
Piper, yeah, she's
Piper,
really
yeah.
good.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Ty and I, and Brian Stegall helped, we put together that list of what we thought over the course of the time we've been doing Greenville basketball, boys and girls, dream teams. We got a lot of views on that thing. We had over 2,300 views on the
Is it?
girls and over almost 2,100 on the boys. Have you gotten much, we haven't taken much flack, I don't think, on any of our choices,
No.
because they were perfect.
Well,
But-
I've got to complain. I wasn't on it, but
You didn't play basketball?
That's right.
all you got to do is look and see. You'll see
But
why.
it's only been since
Man was football.
1997.
Man was
Yeah,
football.
man was football.
But no, we have, it was a fun thing to do.
It was fun.
You know, and again, to form a team, and as we did it, we tried to form a team, not necessarily the top 10 scorers.
Yeah.
And it turned out most of them were on there anyway, but it was interesting. There was one, I had my All Madden team. Every year always has somebody make my All Madden, the blue collar.
Named after John Madden.
You know, the John Madden, yeah, where you just the blue collar does the dirty stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't score a lot of points, but does everything else to make your team win. And one of them, for ladies, was Peyton Brandenburg. And just the other day, I was talking to her dad,
He graduated in
18,
2018.
Anyway, and I said, well, how's Peyton, doing? Because I saw your article, thanks, it was great. I remember you guys always talked about her on the games, that she was a Madden person. And I said, well, how's she doing? She goes, well, she's in New Jersey working for the United States Golf Association. I said,
Really?
oh, really? Because Peyton never golfed. And I said, well, how'd that happen? I mean, how do you, She said, well, she went to Northern Kentucky, and a friend of hers was on the golf team, and they had some kind of summer work, or I forget exactly what. But anyway, she started doing some stuff for the golf team there, Zoom meetings, etc. And something came up, she had the opportunity to apply for this job for the USGA. And she applied for it, and she got an interview. And she called her dad afterwards, and she said, Dad, I said, I'm not going to get it. I said, why? He said, well, the guy asked me, he said, you haven't played much golf, have you? She goes, no. She goes, because you know a little bit of the lingo, but not a lot of the lingo. And she goes, no. I
Birdie?
didn't."
Bogey?
So she goes, yeah, she's not going to make it. Plus, the people interviewing were Division I players, etc. Well, lo and behold, she got the job.
Wow.
And she's worked herself up to part of the rules committee. And she gets to travel around and walk the course for the rules and stuff like that. She coordinates a lot of that activity. So, somebody from Darke County, you never played golf. She plays a little bit of golf now, he says, of course, but
Yeah.
not getting into kind of a neat story.
That is pretty cool.
It's really not hard to learn golf lingo. Most of it's four-letter words.
4?
And 4 ain't one of them.
F-O-R-E. Hey, getting back to the injuries and so forth, it's always been, I think it's been fascinating in my professional life, the number of injuries that girls have
Yes.
to their knees. And I know they did they've done studies on it over the years, and Sports Illustrated had a really good article. May Sports Illustrated rest in peace, but it had a really good article on female athletes. They did a study of Big Ten basketball players, and in one season there were 15 girls, female athletes, blew out ACLs and only 2 guys. And there's scientific reasoning behind that is the girls have what's called a Q angle. That's the measurement between your femurs coming down to your knees. And girls, in most cases in general, females have a little wider hip structure. And so their femurs come in at a little different angle than guys. And then the other thing is, at the base of your femur, your thigh bone at the base, guys have more of a U shape for those ligaments of the knee to
Right.
fit through, and girls have more of a V shape, which is more kind of a cutting kind of tool. And so the angle plus the shape of the end of the femurs, girls are a lot more susceptible to those knee injuries. And so when you start going back, it not only affects the knees, but then they come down and then all of a sudden their ankle gives out, or, they got a hip problem and stuff like that. So, and also then in general, again, I'm speaking in general, some reason guys just have a little more innate sense of where they are when they jump and when they come down. And that, I'm saying in general, because there are a lot of great female athletes out there. I don't want to stir up any
Yeah,
controversy.
way to go to that.
Yeah, but that's the scientific fact. So it's the anatomy, and then just that sense of spatial orientation when you jump and come down, and so it's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough, and that's a lot of stops and starts and jumping and pounding.
I know girls can't run on a sprint and pick up a ball off the floor like a guy can. And I've always been told it's because of what you just explained.
Yeah, it is. There's scientific basis to that stuff. So
Fascinating.
anyhow, yeah, it is. Hey, Super Bowl's coming up here this weekend.
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
boys, it's time to put your reputation. I will start. I just think Kansas City's not as strong as they've been in the past, and I think that San Francisco's defense does a better job of stopping Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes' offense than does Kansas City's defense against all the weapons at San Francisco. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. I think it'll be a pretty close game, like all of them are, or for the most part are. But I'm going with San Francisco this time. Plus, I like their uniforms better.
Yeah, I do too. I did a little research.
Yeah, talk to
yesterday,
me. Talk to me.
Since I'm a football freak.
Well, at least part of it.
Total offense this year, San Francisco was ranked number 2. Kansas City was number 9.
Yep.
San Francisco scored 61 touchdowns. Kansas City scored 39. Passing, San Francisco was 4th with 33 touchdowns. Kansas City was 6th.
Okay.
So that kind of might surprise people. They're a better passing team. Rushing, San Francisco was number 3. Kansas City was 19th in the rush.
Uh-huh.
Scoring, San Francisco was 3, Kansas City was 15th. And in the red zone, San Francisco was number 1 and Kansas City was 17th. In scoring, the Chiefs were number 6, San Francisco was number 5. Now here's the weird thing. With the run, Kansas City was 19th. Against the run, San Francisco was 19th.
Really?
So there's a better offense for San Francisco, no question. I think it's better overall. However, in the last 2 playoff games, San Francisco has given up 70 more points than they have during the regular season per game total.
Wait.
So-
You said 70.
70, yeah. 70
You mean yards? Yeah, you
70
said
yards.
points.
Yeah, 70
Yeah,
yards.
70
70
yards.
more yards.
Okay.
So their defense the last 2 games, rushing the football, hadn't been that good.
You're playing stuff for competition. You got to take a look who they played during.
Well, you got to
the year.
remember this too. Against Baltimore, Kansas City, they got lucky because Lamar Jackson just absolutely was
Had a
awful.
terrible game.
He was awful.
Yeah.
And they couldn't run the ball real effectively against Baltimore. Can they run the ball against the 49ers? That's going to be the key.
Yeah.
Whenever you get to the
Always is.
playoffs, if you go back through history and look, you got to rush the football in the playoffs. If you can run the football, as if almost any, and this is for everybody, running the football is how you win football games. If you run the football, you can do far more than if you're
You
a
open up a
passing team.
passing game, yeah.
I think if San Francisco can stop Kansas City's run, Kansas City will blow them out. Kansas City will get blown out. If Kansas City can run the ball just a little bit, it'll be close and they got a shot to win.
So who you calling? Who's your choice? I'm going
Yeah,
with the 49ers.
in 1,000 words or less, Mike. Who's?
Well, he's almost at 1,000. What's your choice there? You want to think about it?
To me, it's tough because everything points towards San Francisco. But can San Francisco stop the run? If they can't, they're going to lose.
Okay.
So I'm going to take Kansas City.
Ooh, okay. Tyrone?
Well, there's the Kelsey factor always involved with Kansas City.
You're not getting into conspiracy theories now, are you?
No. But
Where'd that come from?
He's always at the big game,
Will Taylor Swift buy off their defense?
maybe.
I heard Taylor
Maybe.
Swift can't get a parking place in Vegas for her plane when it comes in.
Oh, because it's going to be, packed. She's flying in from Tokyo or something.
I didn't mean to bring us about
Yeah,
Taylor
go ahead,
Swift.
go ahead. Yeah, look what you did. Talk to me. Where are you going with your picks here?
My
Anyway,
bad.
So we got a Kansas City to San Francisco.
I guess my heart wants San Francisco, because I'm not
You
really
left
big-
your heart in San Francisco.
Yes, there you
You've
go.
always been a Tony Bennett fan. Huh?
But I'm leaning towards San Francisco, and the reason why, as bad as Baltimore played, as Lamar Jackson, Baltimore was a really good team, and they had a good defense. They still had a chance to win that game. Okay, so Kansas City would get lucky. They got the breaks when they needed at the bad time for Baltimore. Okay, and if Baltimore was in, I'd probably take Baltimore if Jackson played his normal game. But I'm going to line with San Francisco, I think.
Okay. Gaylen?
Kansas City, home of Hallmark cards, great town. And I saw on TV this week where they had the Kansas City quarterback without a shirt on. They was making fun of him for being pudgy, so I'm going to go with him.
All well thought out reasons. Hallmark cards.
I have
and-
never heard that reason before.
And he's got a
Okay,
dad,
so-
he's got a dad bod. What are you
So,
gonna,
so the panel's split then. We got 2 KC picks, we got 2 San Francisco picks. Well, we'll find out.
It should be a
We'll
good
just,
game.
It's before coffee then.
Yeah, we'll try not to
And a
eat
donut.
ourselves in a
Yeah,
stupor
this is
here.
for donuts.
This is
the
for
next time.
donuts.
It's for donuts.
There you go.
Sour cream and cream horns for me. Hey, anything else we want to throw out on the table here before we wrap things up? We've gone probably about far enough. What do you got?
If you're looking for something to do a lot of weekends, the VFW and American Legion have a lot going on at their places. They have single dances, just a lot of things going on year-round, a lot of car shows. So if you're looking for something to do on the weekends, check out and see what's going on at the VFW and
Here,
American
you
Legion.
fooled me. I thought you were going to talk about the high school basketball tournaments
That's
going
coming
on
up.
here.
That's the matchups.
That's
coming up.
right, yeah. Ty and I, this is our last rodeo, isn't
Yep.
it, coming up? We've got ball game Piqua boys on, against Greenville on
Friday.
night, and then the girls against Piqua on
Saturday morning.
That wraps up the era, right?
That's right.
Yeah. A lot of people will be glad to see us right into the sunset.
Concerning Greenville Athletics, Thursday, the 15th, I'm going to go to the school board along with Mr. Scott Fitzgerald, and we're going to discuss taking the old cannon, the original one that the tidal wave got back in the 1970s, and Scott has wanted to mount it there at the stadium as a memorial,
Yeah.
like the original cannon. We've still got it. And if you've never read the tidal wave story, go on the internet and look it up.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating story.
Yeah.
With the 3 guys that started it was my dad, Bud Stegall, Jim Thwaites, and Tom Haynes. And they got together and formed this group, the Tidal Wave. And in the 70s, that group basically reformed Greenville's athletics with the enthusiasm and stuff like that. And buying that cannon was really something.
Wasn't there a big article in one of the Greenville Alumni Association newsletters? And it was like a 4 or 5 page article.
Yeah, I've got
on
I got the original article that Tom wrote, and I gave the original purchase cannon, the receipt that he got from Letterkenny, Pennsylvania. I gave it to the school years ago. Said, here, you can put this in your trophy case.
Didn't Homeland Security come in on that lately? Had to
Homeland
kinda-
Security, yeah, that's why they had to get the new cannon.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the military owns that cannon still. No matter
Okay.
what, they bought it for $1, but they still own it.
Like a
And it
Lend-Lease
can't-
thing or something?
It can't roll, it can't fire, the muzzle has to be
Spiked?
spiked or whatever, it has to have concrete in it, I think. Excuse me, but Scott's willing to do a lot of the work. He's got everything lined up. We just need permission from the school. So if anybody's interested, I know Gaylen, I've asked you to come and speak on behalf of the veterans, and I've asked Tom Pittman to do the same. So if anybody wants to come and put the
Good,
two
that's a
cents
good
worth
thing.
in,
Yeah, Scotty
I
did
think
that.
it'll be a great thing. It kind of it'll tie the new generation cannon with the old one, and I think that'd be kind of cool.
You know, speaking about veterans and what you're talking about with the military, have you guys seen, and I will highly recommend this to you folks out there, that just started 2 weeks ago, Masters of the Air.
Yeah.
It's by Tom Hanks and Steven
Yeah.
Spielberg that did Band of Brothers, The Pacific. Well, this is Masters of the Air. It's about B-17 bombing groups in World War II out
Eighth
of
Air
England.
Force. The
The 8th Air Force,
yeah.
going over Germany and everything they ran into. Really well done. The first 3 episodes have been out. There's a total of 9. That's on Apple TV if you get it. And it's been really important to our family, my wife's family. My wife's father had 24 missions over Europe as a bombardier sitting in the plexiglass nose of those B-17s. And the realism with the flak and the fighters, it's really well done. So if you get a chance, it's on Apple TV, Masters of the Air. Highly, highly recommend it for you folks.
When your brother gets to town again someday, I would love to have you come in here and do.
Oh, with Kirk?
Yeah.
that's
and-
good.
Because I got to hear him speak
Right.
at Darce, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
I learned that Darke County had the only ship in World War II named after it.
That's right.
The USS Darke, and I learned that from your brother.
Yeah,
So
well.
I'd love to have you bring him in here sometime.
I will do that.
Both of his brothers.
Yeah, Mark,
Mark was a heck of a kicker, by the way, in school. He was good. I think he's got the longest field goal kicker in Greenville is.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
I know he kicked a 35-yarder against Wapakoneta.
yep, last game of the season.
To win the game 31-0. Well, hey, we'll wrap things up here, but I kind of enjoy these little ad lib things where we just kind of throw stuff out there and see what sticks and what doesn't.
Yeah, we
So,
can, I'm sure the people are going, yeah, those guys
yeah,
are really
interesting.
interesting.
Fast forward.
Fast forward. Well, yeah, on behalf of
Are they
Gaylen,
going to say something interesting?
well, yeah, on behalf of Nick Schmidt, our videographer, and Gaylen Blosser, Ty House, Mike Stegall, I'm Alex Porter. Thanks for sitting in on this session of the Roundtable. We enjoy bringing these to you every now and then here on mycountylink.com. Have a good day out there.